we're going to be talking about the vertical intercept of a rational function. So let's talk first about vertical intercepts, or the vertical intercept of a function. So we all know that to find the vertical intercept of any function, we always set the input, otherwise x, equals to 0, and then we solve for the output. Let me give you an example. Suppose that you have the following function, y equals 2x plus 1, and you want to find the vertical intercept. Now, we all know that the vertical intercept for this linear function is given by this value right here, the b. The vertical intercept in this particular function is 0, 1. Now, if I want to do this algebraically, I can find the vertical intercept by setting the input equals to 0 and then substituting the 0 right here, so it will be 2 times 0 plus 1, and then solving for y. So I know now that the vertical intercept is 1, which of course I knew already by looking at the equation of the function. Okay, so how do I find the vertical intercept of a rational function? I'm going to work in the same way. I'm going to make x equals 0. Otherwise, the input, you're going to set it equals to 0, and then you're going to solve for y. Okay? So let's start with the first example, and we're going to take f of x equals 2x plus 12, and this is divided by x minus 4. Now, it's easy if I write this equation as y equals 2x plus 12 divided by x minus 4. It's just easier for me, so I just have to work with x and y's. So I'm going to work with my first step, which is, of course, make the input equals 0. So I'm going to set the input equals to 0. So that means that I'm going to substitute here and here for 0. Okay, so now we go. Y is equal 2 times 0 plus 12 divided by 0, right? Minus 4. Let me just make sure that I use the right colors. Okay, 0 minus 4. Okay, so what do I have here? Y is equals 2 times 0 is 0, plus 12 is 12, and 0 minus 4 is negative 4, so y is equals to negative 3. So the vertical intercept, or otherwise called the y-intercept, okay? The y-intercept or vertical intercept is the point 0. Remember that you're making x equals 0, 0, comma, negative 3. Okay, let's do another example. So this is example number 2. We have f of x is equals now to 1 divided by x squared plus 7x plus 12. And if I want to find the y-intercept or vertical intercept, okay, I'm going to make, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make x equals 0. So if I make x equals 0, it's going to be, y is going to be equals, remember that this is the same thing as y is going to be equals to 1 divided by 0 squared plus 7 times 0 plus 12. So it's going to be equals to 1 divided by 12, because this is 0 and this is 0. So the y-intercept in this particular case is going to be the point 0, 112. Okay? So let's do a third example. In third example, we have f of x is equal to x squared minus 8x plus 12 divided by x to the third minus x. We're going to find the y-intercept. Again, the first thing I do is I make x equals 0, and then I'm going to use y is equal to 0 squared minus 8 times 0 plus 12 divided by 0 cubed minus 0. I have 12 divided by 0, and now I have a problem because 12 divided by 0 is just not a number. Because 12 divided by 0 is not a number, then, and again, 12 divided by 0 is not a number because division by 0 is not defined. Okay? So f of x does not have a vertical intercept. So, and this can happen. F of x does not have a vertical intercept. Now, f of x doesn't have a vertical intercept in this case because the f of 0 is just not defined. Okay, so that is something that can happen, and is completely okay if the function does not intercept the y-axis. Okay, let's have a last example, and now we have f of x equals x squared divided by 5, and again in this case I want to find the y-intercept. Let me write it as y equals x squared divided by 5. To do the y-intercept, right, I'm going to make x equals 0, so y is going to be 0 squared divided by 5, which is 0, so the y-intercept, or the vertical intercept, either way you call it, okay, is the point 0, 0. Okay, and this problem is problem number 4. Okay, so let's review what we learned. We learned about vertical intercepts. Remember, vertical intercepts are also called y-intercept. You have been working with y-intercepts for a really long time. So the y-intercept of a rational function, you find it by making x equals 0 and solving for the output.